Welcome back, MTG Joe here. Today we're doing a weekly metagame breakdown for the Pioneer, formerly Explorer, best of one format. So going to take a look at what's happening in this format since Edge of Eternities, where the meta is kind of shaping up. We're going to get all the data from Untapped.gg, what you see on the screen, companion tool that runs alongside Arena's client, aggregates user win rates, gives us all the stats we'll be looking at for today. If you want to use Untapped to track your win rates, see some stats, or just get any of these deck lists that I'll feature, everything will be in the video description, so you can just copy paste to your heart's content. While you're there, make sure to hit that sub button on YouTube. We're trying to hit 20,000 subs by the end of the month, and we're like 1,335 away. So you can do your part to help out the channel. Free, easy, and is greatly appreciated if you can. So jumping in, let's see what's happening in this format. So Platinum and Mythic rank for the first week or so, 2 weeks of the format since ladder reset. The mono red Leyline Fling deck, Rakdos aggro, is at 17%. We have the mono red Mice deck. Basically you got your standard deck banned, so come play it here at 12%. 9% for Angels, 6% for control, Azorius control. Phoenix is at 6%, Boros equipment with Cloud is at 5%, or is at 3%, mono black mid-range at 2%. Do see quite a big drop off in terms of the mono red decks, but still kind of representing the highest. There'll be a deck we feature at the end of the video that's actually seemingly really strong into mono red. It's got like 75% win rate after like 30 plus games. So we'll take a look at that at the end. So make sure to tune in. 26,000 games played for the last week. Platinum and Mythic rank. Mono red Leyline, also the highest win rate deck. Some of these are a little bit smaller sample sizes, so keep that in mind. But this deck here is looking to ideally have Leyline of Resonance in your opening hand, so it comes into play. With it in play, it will double up the spells that you cast at target creatures you control. As such, things like Turn Inside Out, Titan Strength, Monstrous Rage, Felliness Rage, Ancestral Anger all double up, give you double the value. With Cacophony Scamp and Heartfire Hero, it allows you to double target them and then basically deal damage when they die through the boost, and then you can also fling them at your opponent for added damage. Swift Spear, Slick Shots, Ember Hearts kind of wrap up the deck itself. Go to Mono Green Devotion, a deck we haven't seen too much since the banning of Karn in the deck, but it's moved to more of a stompy version, kind of beat down that way, 73%. So another deck that's trying to take advantage of just good drawing, having that Leyline in your opener hand. Comes to play, makes it so your lands tap for every basic land color, but notably adds 4 Devotion, 4 green pips to your mana. With Nykthos and then like Sunken Citadel that got reprinted here, you activate Nykthos, generate a whole bunch of mana. Kiora lets you tap and tap it for value. Llanowar Elf, Elvish Mystic, you have Invasion and Oath to help you find it. Trailblazer draws you cards, Kiora draws you cards. Basically what you're trying to do is generate huge amounts of mana, tap to and untap Nykthos, Storm the Festival into more value, Cavalier into Nykthos, and once you generate enough value, you can transform Uvenwald Oddity and just overrun your opponent by giving all your creatures haste and trample. We have Selesnya Angels, so 71%. So this deck here is looking to Coco into Angels. This deck will gain you life off things like Bishop of Wings, Lunarch Veteran. Jada can beef up your Angels. This one's also playing kind of a life gainy package with Voice of the Blessed in here as well. The big ones obviously are Righteous Valkyrie and Bishop of Wings. Both will gain you 4+ life potentially when Angels come in. Once you gain 5 or more life for a turn, Resplendent Angel starts popping out more Angels as well. This one's got a Johnny that's kind of the Mirror Breaker with its 0 ability to kind of one-sided board wipe, and is also playing an Archangel Elspeth. I will say with this mana base, it can be improved. Shouldn't be playing overgrown farmlands. Instead, you should be playing a full set of Temple Gardens and a full set of Razorverge Thickets. You probably also don't want Cave of the Frost Dragon and Castle Ardenvale in this. You'll sometimes see lists that are on 6 elves, 3 Llanowar Elves, 3 Elvish Mystics to kind of help you ramp up into your spells as well. So that's another kind of variant that you could see. Esper Greasefang. So we've had Mardu, we've had Abzan, and we have Esper. The Esper one's kind of a hybrid that you're doing both at Horror and Oculus as well as Greasefang. Both are looking to take advantage of being either reanimated with things like Can't Stay Awake, or just or even recommission. But then the Greasefang also has a backup plan where you cheat into play Parhelion or Sky Sovereign, both ways to kind of take advantage with Greasefang to haste and get immediate value. Faithful Mending, Stitcher Supplier, Otherworldly Gaze, the discard on Bitter Triumph, and then Picklock Prankster are all ways to put cards into your graveyard to kind of fuel this strategy. Boros equipment, Boros Cloud. So Cloud is basically like a Stoneforge Mystic. This one's at 68%. Lets you tutor for an equipment, put it into your hand. You still have to cast this on like Stoneforge where you can cheat it into play. But if Cloud is equipped, or an equipment attached to a trigger, if an ability of Cloud or an equipment attached to it triggers an additional time, so you can get some added value there. But this is a hammer deck, so with Sigarda's Aid, you could cheat into play Colossus Hammer, and then auto-equipped it, so you get around the equip cost. So it pushes out huge amounts of damage. Roban, Bull of Alamigo, also can auto-equipped with attack. So you attach up to one target equipment to target attacking creature. Kemba is also another way to kind of cheat the equipment in play. Freya's early ramp, and then could be an evasive body to throw on the stuff. You have a toolbox with like Lava Spur Boots, Shadow Sphere, the Colossal Hammer obviously can be found by Cloud, Chainsaws removal, Quarry Steel if you're double spelling, and then with Kellen you can use its Bright Boon to also tutor for things like Sheltered by Ghosts, in addition to your various equipment in the deck. Mono red aggro, so traditional kind of mono red, the standard mice deck. So pretty much what we seen in standard Sunspine main, since a lot of the mana bases are a bit greedier. The only kind of change here is you have Kumanos in here, which are just very powerful on turn 1 to complement the other turn 1 cards. And then Reckless Rage, 2 damage to one of your creatures, but 4 to an opponent. Plays really nicely with Screaming Nemesis since the damage can be redirected as well. And then your things like Heartfire Hero can get a counter, so eventually can outscale the 2 damage as well. Prowess effects get around that in that case. The deck itself has your mouse package that we've seen in standard, but gets access to Mutavault in the mana base, as well as Ramanap Ruins and Sokazan. Sometimes you'll see Den of the Bugbear in the mana base as well. Sultai Dredge, 65%, so Dredgeless Dredge, but basically the Dredge archetype is self-mill for value. So you're using Stitcher Supplier, Otherworldly Gaze, Cash Grab, Witherbloom Command, Dredger's Insight, so just ways to kind of mill over cards. When you mill over cards, you can get like Bloodghast back with your lands, but notably with Narcomoeba, if it would be milled over to your graveyard, you get to put it into play. That would trigger Prized Amalgam to come back. Silver Smoke Ghoul could come back from the free cast of Creeping Chill. Haunted Dead could pitch some cards from your hand to return it from your graveyard. So you have kind of value engines there. The Treacherous Insight can gain you life. So you just kind of churn through your deck and then get creatures into play for free. We have Golgari food. So we've seen the Jund food, basically Rakdos Sacrifice with Yurga combo cat. So Yurga plus Cauldron Familiar creates a loop where 2 cats infinitely sack themselves to each other and drain out your opponent. You have Scavenger's Talent that can help you mill into the combo. Gilded Goose helps you kind of ramp into it. Trail of Crumbs is some card advantage. You also have Roots in this one if you're getting stuff back from the graveyard, but Treacherous Insight mills you over. You have Albed Scavengers as kind of a Blood Artist-y style effect. And then Deadly Dispute for some card advantage. Abrupt Decay, Fatal Push as removal. Thoughtseize for interaction, just kind of in loops otherwise. But eventually just mill yourself over until you can reanimate the Yurga through like Scavenger's Talent. Kind of win that way, or just kind of incidentally hardcast it and win. Mono Black Waste Not. Mono Black discard, 61%. So Waste Not cares about your opponent discarding. If your opponent discards a creature, you get a zombie. If they discard a land, you basically 2/3 of a Dark Ritual. And if your opponent discards a non-creature, non-land, you draw a card. You have Bandit's Talent that could discard, and then is kind of a rack style effect. The rack is the kind of archetype that we've seen in older formats. Thoughtseize, Duress, then a whole bunch of removals. Edict, Go for the Throat. We have Phyrexia Arena to refill your hands. Go Blank eats away at their hand and it also exiles their graveyard. Liliana eats at it. So strip their hand of all their resources, try to accrue some card advantage with Bankbuster or Arena, and then like stick a Shieldred, Alkazat's virtue, some removal kind of value in that sense. You should be playing an Urborg in this mana base. That is a very quick addition. Since you're playing like Demolition Field and some of these utilities, Urborg basically would make any of these colorless lands colored. So it's a very easy addition to the deck just to improve it. You can break parity with like Castle Lockwing to draw cards, Gaia Reach Sanitarium. You basically draw and force them to discard, and then you get value off the Waste Not as well. Mono white tokens, Devotion. So this is a deck built around United Battlefront. So this will allow you to find key cards, non-creature cards. So Wedding Announcement and Caretaker's Talent's the big one, draws you a bunch of cards. During Innocence is a creature, but cares about the token theme about drawing you a bunch of cards. Restoration of Gonjo can help you find lands. Win condition on itself when it flips. Kind of reanimate some of your smaller stuff. Seal it from existence, adds some removal that can be found. Carrot Cake is tokens early. Life Gain helps you stabilize. High Noon against any Stormy style decks. Rune Halo can name individual sources and stop damage from it. You have protection. Ossification is removal. Birth of Melides is just more ways to kind of find lands and get virtual card advantage. Seamurp's a new addition, just more 1 mana removal along the portable hole. And then you have some bases on the top end. Go in with Elspeths, making you a bunch of tokens, kind of going to town that way. Sunfall is a sweeper. And then a bunch of utility lands. You have castles in here. You have Field of Ruins. Sunken Citadel takes advantage of all these kind of activated ability lands. Izzet Prowess. So in Best of 3, there was like a VV Arcanist version. If you want to see that, it's in the video from last week. This one is more kind of aggro prowess. So Slick Shots, Quarry Steel, Balmore, some cheap cantrips, Consider, Sleight of Hand, and then just some Rages, some Burn mixed in, Kumanos, Wizard's Lightning. So Slick Shot, Balmore are wizards. Soul Scar's a wizard. Swiftspear, not a wizard. So just keep that in mind as you're kind of playing out your spells. But cheap burn, cheap disruption, cantrips, and cutter mixed into there. We have Izzet Phoenix, the other version of the kind of prowessy style strategies. So seeing it adopt a copy of VV in the main, but just drawing and discarding, looting into your graveyard the Phoenix. Artist Talent helps get Phoenix into the graveyard. Refill your hand with Treasure Cruise. You have Quarry in here. Again, you're naturally trying to cast multiple spells per turn. Plays really nicely in this. Gives you another way to attack your opponent outside of strictly just trying to get Phoenix into play. You have like Fiery Impulse, Flood Maw, a bunch of cheap burn, then like Sleight of Hand, Opt, and Consider 12 1-mana cantrips that also work. Also Proph's Edict that we see kind of with the VV elements in Standard. And then revealing the deck that's doing well against mono red. So Wise Torfs went 73-27. They are 23-8 versus mono red, which is pretty impressive all things considered against the Boros decks 9-1. So this is a deck that I've played before as well for qualifiers. It is the kind of cheesy but effective, hey, what if I give you a 9 lives and kill you that way? So how it works is 9 lives says if it leaves the battlefield, you lose the game. If there's 9 counters on it, it basically gets sacrificed. So what you're trying to do is either donate it to them with the Coveted Falcon. So how it can work is if your opponent attacks you, it deals damage, the 9th trigger on the stack, you go to full control. You can then flip Coveted Falcon with the trigger on the stack, donate it to your opponent. You can Cleansing Nova to destroy all enchantments as well. So if there's still just counters on it, you can, or kind of lives left, you donate it to them, and then you basically just blow up the board, Farewell, Nova, or Devastating Mastery, all of which can blow up the 9 lives and kill them that way there. You also just incidentally have the 9 live Solemnity lock, which will then just prevent you from taking damage. Now notably, Bonecrusher Giant or Questing Beast. Questing Beast doesn't see as much play now, but those say damage cannot be prevented. So that is one way to kind of break the lock. Otherwise, you're just a control deck. Bunch of cheap counters, removal, lockdown is kind of another additional sweeper. Memory Deluge can kind of help you bridge through that. The new 2-mana Chart the Star Course or whatever it is could be another addition that you might want to consider for the deck. So you're basically winning by like donating the stuff to your opponent. In your mana base, you have Castle Ardenvale to kind of set you up. You may want just like an alternative win condition, so maybe even just like a Hall of the Storm Giants in here. Pretty easy to play that, or Restless Anchorage, Castle Ardenvale, just something else could be another additional inclusion in here just to give you some backup redundancy. But the deck is really effective. Can take some time to win the games, but it's a pretty demoralizing deck if you want to just crush the hope and spirit of your opponents. So that is it for the week. Good luck those playing. Let me know what you think of the format. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.